squeak, squeak.
From the co-creator of VeggieTales
Good morning, brother.
comes a brand new animated series, 2,000 years in the making. It's the Dead Sea Squirrels, featuring an all-star voice cast, including Mike Narocki. Guest appearances from Phil Vischer, Duncan Phillips of the Newsboys, and Beth Moore.
Yeah, girl.
Plus original songs featuring Matthew West, Mercy Mees, Bart Millard, Ellie Holcomb, and many more.
I feel a song coming on.
Filled with faith, fun, action, adventure, and biblical truth.
With God, anything is possible.
Straight from the mouths of the squirrels who saw the story unfold firsthand.
Not the whole Bible, just the last part. We're not that old.
The Dead Sea Squirrels. Start streaming February 14th, Valentine's Day. Exclusively on Minnow.
You're in high demand.
Yeah, we're pretty great.
Oh, Mike, I'm so excited. Last time we had talked, there was not quite yet, the deal had not been solidified on where this book series was going. And now that
Yes.
Minnow has it, I feel like it's the perfect fit, the perfect match. So I feel like
Yes.
God has done it again. And I'm sure you're just so excited the time is finally here.
Oh, I am so excited. We've been working on this show for years. Obviously the books came far before that. I started writing the books back in 2017, I think, and got the 12 books done. And we did a deal with the Wonder Project, and and now through Minnow. So Wonder and Minnow are our partners on this, and we are so excited to finally launch and, as I like to say, release the squirrels into the wild.
Yes, they are going to be released in the wild. And I do want to make sure parents know. And just because this is my background with my daughter, I told you you were so kind and sent some books her way. When she read them, she was in fifth grade
Yes.
and they were the perfect, and I know age range, that's a hard kind of hook to get them in. And she was totally in, read
I
them all.
love that. Oh my
So now
goodness.
that there's a series that she can now watch to even, jog her memory of what she read. And then my little one, you don't even have to read any of these books to follow along with the series now. I just am so excited about
Yeah.
the widespread appeal for ages on this.
Oh, I love it. And what I really love too is kind of the read watch, kind of combo too, because I think kids, reading and watching something is just a different experience. And I think it can be fun for kids. It's the same storyline. The animation series is based off the books. But obviously I think older kids who can read on their own will enjoy the books, and then also enjoy the animated series. But then younger kids can get into the animated series maybe before they're fully able to read. But it's just really it's been a really great experience just seeing the feedback from the books, and the hearing the stories of the kids who've loved these, Merle and Pearl, who are the two main characters, and Michael, who's a 10-year-old boy. But yeah, we're just so excited about the whole project.
And can I tell you what you do so beautifully, which is what VeggieTales did? And we talked a little bit about this last time we had talked, because it's not easy to do when you mix a little bit of humor, with the gospel, right? And it has to be done tastefully. Um, and you guys have done that yet again. That's the secret sauce, I think, to what you're creating.
Yeah, we want to be reverent, and obviously want to hold the Gospels up as sacred. And particularly with the squirrels, we're talking, the concentrating on primarily on New Testament stories about Jesus and the apostles, in the context of a modern day story, and we do these flashbacks to the first century. But I think developing characters who have flaws, who you can find humor in those characters, but yet the gospel stays the same yesterday, today, and forever, and holding that as sacred, and as a way for the words of the gospel to guide our modern day characters' lives. It's just fun. It's fun to have flawed characters and play with humor, and hopefully that is just a real draw for kids.
Now, something that's going to be different for the series that you don't quite get understandably out of a book is the music and the partnerships that are coming out of this. Tell me about how that all kind of came together. Did you in your mind right away knew that this was going to be great, to incorporate music when you were creating, kind of thinking about this animated series?
I did. In the books, we every book has it's called Squirrel's Eye View. It's sort of a flashback chapter where Merle and Pearl, a squirrel who have been frozen in time for 2,000 years in a Dead Sea cave, and are rehydrated and desalinated in the modern world. They're and by Michael, this little 10-year-old kid finds him in a cave. When Michael and his friends are experiencing a kind of a dilemma of some sort that a message from the Gospels will help them with, there's a flashback, and I felt in the books. And I felt like that'd be a perfect opportunity to do that in music, with the animated series. And so that was always part of the plan. And just the way that the songs have turned out and the folks that have come on board to help us out with that has been great. And I've been a huge Steve Taylor fan from my youth. And Steve and I are working together on the series, and we've been co-writing the songs, and it's just been a blast. So I'm thrilled about all that. Matthew West as our
Okay, so
singing
you have big
genius.
names working on. This isn't just like anybody
Yes.
coming up with songs. How did that work?
Well, so I've known Matthew for a number of years. We were neighbors when we're both from the Chicago area, and both living in Nashville now. And so, when I moved down here, we got to be friends and neighbors. And he actually joined us on a silly song for VeggieTales, "The Gated Community." He sang that for us. So we've been friends over the years. So I reached out to him and said, "Hey, Matthew, I'm working on this project. Would you consider doing this?" And he was, very enthusiastic. Yes, I would love to do this.
Did he help
Um,
write? Because he's such a good writer too.
Oh, he's such a good writer. We he didn't write on these songs, but he obviously just his singing is great. He's such a busy guy. I think he appreciated just being able to come into the studio and say, "Hey, I'll sing this." So, but no, Matthew West, Mac Powell is our singing John the Baptist. Steve Taylor, who was working on the show, he's the Apostle Paul, and Steve has got just a great delivery, a great voice. So we've got so many artists who have stepped in, and it's great. It's kind of the nice thing about being in Nashville and just being around these folks and being friends with them.
Well, and I would imagine, again, there's just not a whole lot of, again, towards this age range. And thankfully, I think we are getting, more content for
Yes.
the kiddos, but it must be refreshing for them to do something a little different. Because again,
Yes.
there's just not a whole lot out there
Right.
that's targeting this age range.
Right. I've loved that, and it's been fun throughout my career to see that, folks who have wanted to be an animated character because, they can show it to their kids or their grandkids. So it's really fun. Yeah, another, not a musical guest, but we reached out to Beth Moore, who, she's our Mary Squirrel, one of the Tennessee squirrels that we have. And so just thrilling, it's just like, oh yeah, I'd love to see myself as an animated character. So it's a great way to work with other folks.
So when this rolls out, there is season 1 already ready to go, so we know that's in, and
Yeah.
then what's the future? Do we have to make sure this does what, like, how can we get more? Because I know, this is just gonna be something so wonderful, people are not there's always a, "Hey, we want more, we want more."
We want more. Well, I really encourage folks to sign on to Minnow. Minnow is our streaming service that we're going with. Yeah, and that's kind of the way it works. If people pick it up, if they like it, then we can make more. We're in development of a season 2. I've signed a deal with Tyndale for 12 additional books, and I've charted out kind of the big storyline on those 12 books, and I've started writing those. I'm done with the first 2 of those 12. So we would love to continue the series with Merle and Pearl and turn that into an animated series. But yeah, just would love for folks to hop on to Minnow and watch it, and I think they're really really going to love it.
And the books, how do they parallel with how the episodes are laid out?
So each episode is about 20, anywhere from 23 to 27 minutes. And it's a fairly 1-to-1 ratio. So all the way through, kind of near the end, the books get a little bit longer. So there are, 12 books, but 13 episodes. But, so episodes 11, 12, and 13, kind of take care of books 11 and 12, so that's kind of how that works. But yeah, so it's 1-to-1. So if you've read one of the books, you watch episode 1, it's like, okay, that's that's that book. So it was a great way to develop the stories, and it's fun because then you can plus things, as you bring it to animation, add some fun new things, and obviously add music and different things. So I think it makes for a different experience, but it's a lot of fun.
Hey, and I can't not mention this for all the VeggieTale fans. Phil, Bob the Tomato back as well. This is a big deal. I love this.
Yes, Phil's also part of our Tennessee Squirrel group. It's funny because there's Bob, Larry, and Mary Squirrel, and so what we did, we changed it up a little bit. Phil is Larry Squirrel, and I'm Bob Squirrel. So I do my best Bob the Tomato accent, or Bob the Tomato is this with a Southern accent, and then Phil does his best Larry the Cucumber impersonation. So we have a lot of fun nods to VeggieTales, and just throughout the little Easter eggs here and there. But no, it was great working with Phil on this, and yeah, he makes a great Larry Squirrel.
How have you seen God kind of show up over this process and in working on this? And I love your career backstory. You were one of those that when you were a kid, you did not envision this was how your life was going to
I
pan out.
had no idea. I thought I was going to be a missionary doctor, and yeah, it's a
You
little bit.
are a missionary, though. You're just,
You know
it's
what?
ministry, what you're
I
doing, just in a
I
different form.
Absolutely. Well, I tell people I felt like I was called to ministry when I was in high school, and I went forward at a youth convention and dedicated my vocation to ministry. I just had no idea. I kind of had an idea in my 17-year-old brain of what that could look like, but God showed up in ways that I would have never have imagined, and used my passions and my talents in ways that I never could have imagined. So stuff that I thought you couldn't do for a real job. Yeah, it's what I've been a part of, and I've for Squirrels in particular, I've just seen God show up so much, because it was an idea that I've had for so many years, and my wife really encouraged me to keep with it. She was encouraging. It's like, no, I think this is a really good idea, and so I've stuck with it, and just from my when I left Big Idea in 2016, I started pitching it as an animated series, because that's what I knew, with a career in animation. But a friend of mine in publishing, Dan Lynch, suggested, hey, have you ever thought about this as an early reader series? And I hadn't researched that, and
Yeah.
kind of worked it up,
Stepping
and
out of your comfort zone
jumped
again.
out of my comfort zone, and then got open the door to Tyndale, picking it up, and and then one thing after another, then to raising money for the pilot, and the great partners that we've had come on board and support this, to all the folks that have joined us in creating the show. It's just been, God's been opening one door after the other, so it's just been an incredible process, and I'm so humbled and so thrilled by the whole thing.
Oh, and I'm so excited about what this is going to do for kids and what's going to stick with them through this series. And just job well done. And I'm excited for you, and I'm proud for you. And I can't wait to watch it with my kiddos.
Oh, Carly, thank you so much. I'm just, yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's been great talking to you, from the early on points of this process, and it's exciting to be here where it's being released into the wild.
Let's see what God does with it now. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the journey here as it launches out, and getting the feedback, which I know is going to be great as well. And then we'll have to check back in later, and hopefully season 2, we can get cranking on that soon.
Let's do it. All right, Carly, thank you so much.
Straight from the mouths of the squirrels who saw the story unfold firsthand.
Not the whole Bible, just the last part. We're not that old.
The Dead Sea Squirrels. Start streaming February 14th, Valentine's Day. Exclusively on Minnow.
You're in high demand.
Yeah, we're pretty great.